Are we live?
I don't know. Are we live?
Because that actually, was it me or did that stop short?
No, you're live.
Okay. I felt like because I was looking at the screen over here and it stopped here and I hit mute over there. And next thing I know, I saw Seeker and Raven doing this. So
what's up, everybody?
Everyone says, yes, we're live. Man, it's been way too long, brothers, since we've had a Monday chat. And matter of fact, Seeker, you were just bringing this up. It is now officially been just over a year that we've been doing these chats, although we did have a sabbatical for a couple of months because of conflicts and schedules and busyness and holidays and you name it. But it's good to be back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, but you're right. It's I think our first one was December 14th or something like that. And so yeah, glad to be back at it. It was more than a few months off. I think it's probably been 4 or 5 months since our last one.
Has it been 4 or 5 months?
I think so.
We took almost, I think, a good 4 months.
Well, if you go to rcubecast.com, since every episode is listed there, if we go to YouTube features and let's take a look. I need to transfer this website to my new host. Yeah, December 14th of 2020. But our last one was 7 months ago with Arizona Ghostwriters.
They were fun. That was on Arizona.
Oh, yeah, you know what? He was awesome. We had Taco Stacks. We had Plugmaster Ford. We've had Yankee Stacking.
We had here's every one of our guests. We had Arizona Ghostwriters, Coin Crew, Taco Stacks, Dig and Dave, Yankee Stacking, Treasure Quest, Salivate Metal, Coin Help You, $50 JW, and Big Mill.
Yep.
Man, we've had a lot of people on here. And you know what? We do plan on having guests down the road again, but for our first time back in 17 months or whatever it's been, we just decided to hang out like the old days. Plus, it's after the holidays. We know a lot of you are busy. Raven, how was your holidays, speaking of holidays?
Man, it was a lot of fun watching the little Ravens now kind of understanding what Christmas is. The boy, he's still kind of confused, but the little girl, she's all about it. You know, and every present we handed her, she's like, she'd open up and go, thank you, and give you a big hug and kiss, you know, and then the boy, he just kind of was like, you know, but yeah, it's pretty cool, man. We had a lot of fun. I made a turkey dinner with all the fixins, you know, so turkey, the gravy, the stuffing, the vegetables, the mashed potatoes. I mean, I went all out. Matter of fact, I told you guys earlier tonight, I had turkey enchiladas, you know, because you start running out of things to do with it.
Yeah, with all the turkey.
Heck Definitely. Yeah, but it was awesome, you know, and had a great time. I really feel blessed, you know, to have my kids. I have you guys as my bros, and we have, you know, our audiences that treat us so well. I got a package from Ty Hitman's family that was insane. Big giant bags of Reese's Pieces popcorn. It's insanely delicious. Like, wow.
So it's not magically delicious though.
No, it's insanely delicious. What about you, Seeker? How was your Christmas, brother?
It was good, man. I do Christmas a little bit differently as far as the food is concerned. We have all the family over like bright and early. In fact, little Seeker texted both of the grandmas and everyone else that was coming and said they were required to be there by 7 a.m. So I had to get up at 5:30 and start cooking. So I did. We always do like a huge Christmas breakfast. So we had bacon, sausage, biscuits, eggs, hash browns, sliced oranges and tomatoes. You know, all the like pretty much all the good stuff. So we do a little bit bigger. We do a little bit different. We do a big breakfast, but we don't do a dinner. By time dinner's around, everyone's gone. It's just us.
Well, next year it's Christmas at Seeker's house.
Well, we just have, you know, we have breakfast at my house, dinner at yours, and we're good to go.
You know what? Yeah. I had my 25, almost 26-year-old daughter over and her boyfriend, and then my going to be 22-year-old son in 2 weeks over with his girlfriend, and we had a good time. You know what? We had a good time. It's not often anymore, other than holidays, it seems like, that I can have my kids over because one lives 5.5 hours away. One only lives an hour or 40 minutes away, but she's busy as can be. And you know, when you're adulting, those first 5 or 6 or 7 years of being an adult and finding your way, the parents, you've already spent so many years with them. You're like, listen, I'm busy. But during the holidays, it's like when there's gifts and food, the kids all of a sudden come around. I don't know what it is, but gifts and foods will always bring them home.
You know, a lot of people don't know this, but I have an older son, and yeah, it's you don't really hear from the older ones, you know, unless they need something. What's up, Miss Coin Crew? Good to see you. But
we did have an early question. I figure, you know what? Normally how this works is you guys can type in questions in the chat. We do our best to get to them. If it's a long-winded answer, we might skip some. But if you have certain questions about anything in general, then we can try our best to answer, or the community that's in the live stream could also answer. But I did see one from Mud Hunter. It said, guys, with the way the economy is right now, do you think there might be a shutdown of the US dollar? And do we need to be more hedging with gold and silver? Seeker.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not, you know, nobody knows what the heck's going to happen tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to get that bad. Like, I do believe in using gold and silver as a hedge against inflation, but I don't think that we're going to, in the U.S., I don't think we're going to see a Venezuela, you know, Zimbabwe type situation with our currency completely deflating. You know, increased inflation overall, yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's becoming pretty darn apparent. But I don't. A shutdown of a U.S. dollar, no, I don't think so. But again, you know, I'm not an expert, and I certainly don't have a crystal ball. Or if I knew it doesn't work.
I've been noticing with groceries and stuff lately, what they're doing is a sneaky shrinkflation. You know, they're keeping the price the same, but taking 4 ounces out of your bacon, you know, a couple slices out of your bread. I mean,
I haven't seen that. I've just seen higher prices. But
and it's on top of that though. I'm talking like, you know, it's now $8 for a 24 pack of Hawaiian you know, the Hawaiian Kings Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Oh, those are great.
They're awesome, but $8 for 20, you know, like that's usually a $5.99 item. Now it's, you know, $7.99. And that's, you know, what's interesting is I remember during the pandemic when it started, they said that they were going to start, you know, punishing companies for doing that kind of stuff, having any increase over like 10%. Well, $5.99 to $7.99, you're looking at what, damn near 20%. I mean,
crazy.
You know, yeah. I read somewhere, and again, no, I'm not trying to say we need to start prepping, but I did read somewhere, and I thought, and I read a lot about it, and I'm not going to get into the conversation, but it just made me think about it, is that in about 10 years, the average United States American will not be able to afford some of the nicer cuts of meat.
I believe that.
I mean, it's only gone up quite a bit recently, but in the next 10 years, it's projected that the average American will be pretty much ground beef and all of the other lesser cuts at best when they want to enjoy something like a steak.
No, yeah. I believe that 100%. I mean, shoot, just my wife and I, like one of our I don't know what you call it. Like one of the things we do, we probably shouldn't do as much as we do, is we'd like to go out and eat. And we go to Texas Roadhouse a lot just because we really like Texas Roadhouse steaks. Good. But man, the cost for the same steaks that we've been ordering for like even in the last year has jumped quite a bit. Even there, it's crazy how much more it is. In fact,
yeah,
our bill used to be like $40, and now it's just north of 50 for the same thing we've been ordering almost every time we go.
Yeah. I'm going to start, you know, one of our plans is, of course, at some point, the reason we moved to Oklahoma is family here, but also good opportunity for land. We're also looking at Texas eventually. We're not 100% sure, but you're going to need to have your own chickens and cows and different things. You know, the one thing that I'm lucky about is that we do live close to a slaughter yard. You know, it's only about 15 miles or so away. You can normally get some good meat, you know, at a good price, but now it's just climbing, man. Just climbing.
Yeah. Yeah. Seeker, are you making anything cool with your 3D printer?
I mean, I've shown them off on my channel before, but like the shotgun shells and the coin traps and things like that, I've been, you know, I still do. Actually, I've had to do a lot of the shotgun shells before Christmas. Those are a lot of fun. I don't have as much silver shot as I did a couple of weeks ago.
I got a question, Seeker. How close are you to your 50 silver quarters for your 50,000 subscriber giveaway? Where are we at?
760 subs to go.
760 subs to go. So listen, there's not a lot of times you can get in on he's not giving away a couple of prizes. That's 50 different winners get a silver quarter. And those are nice quarters, by the way. It's not like it's the coal bin at the LCS. This is nice stuff.
Well, yeah, they're like brand new proof 90% silver quarters. But I'll be giving away 50 of them to 50 different people.
And congratulations, Raven, on 6,000 subs. I saw you recently hit that.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, we're at 6120 something, I think, right now. And
nice.
We're climbing. Matter of fact, since we've moved to Norman, we've gotten a lot of support from the state and this city, and I cannot thank the people that are here enough. The dots in the local grocery store sold out because of me, which is kind of funny.
The dots.
Yep, the dots. But I'm telling you, that Reese's popcorn, it's just nuts. It's gonna take over dots. I'm gonna be like 400 pounds before we know it. I'll be like, what's up, everybody?
I saw a question. I am less than 50 subs away from 100K.
That's awesome.
If it doesn't happen tomorrow, it'll probably happen by Wednesday's stream. Can't guarantee it. It's finicky. When you have almost 100,000 subs, all it takes, every day, if you put out content like I do, you remind people that maybe aren't any longer really active on your channel to unsub. So I have ebbs and flows as well. It sounds easy enough, but it could be 24 hours, it could be 48, it could be 72. The plan is, as soon as I hit it, within 72 hours of me hitting it, I will put out the gold giveaway video announcement winners, and hopefully it's you. We've got quite a few comments on that one, and Seeker and Raven, you guys are eligible, but
I put a comment in there.
Hopefully you don't win.
If I win, I will ask you to please repick.
Rosie's asking, is old money getting harder to find as well as older coins? And we were talking about this a little bit before we went on live. Ravenhawk, you were kind of leading that discussion. Give us your thoughts on older money being able to harder to find, and older coins, maybe silver and or old copper.
Well, right now, yeah, especially in Norman, one of the things I appreciate, of course, is all the people that support us, but that also has a triggering effect where now every bank that's in the city, you have a lot more people asking for coins and searching coins. The amount of NIFCs and silver that we've been getting in the boxes lately has gone down quite significantly. It's hard to get a box of pennies here, hard to get a box of nickels. I still find my ways here and there, but you're finding less copper, less, of the old stuff that was here just even a year or so ago. Because when we first got here, I was finding V nickels and lots of buffaloes and lots of silver. Now it's like, the last box I did had good amount of not V nickels, war nickels, but the majority of the coins are more brand new, 2021, 2019, 2017, those nickels. And not finding very many of the common date 40s and the 50s that you would normally get, so that's changed quite a bit. And then when you go to some of the local coin dealers that are doing currency, well, currency out here has gotten a little more popular, and I'm noticing it's harder to get, some of the really nice older currency, like the brown seals have gone up almost triple in price in the last 6 months. And the thing that blew my mind is the other day I was talking to Ty Hitman about getting some 40%ers and a roll of 90% from him. And I told him what I normally paid, because I haven't looked at APMEX in quite a while for their prices. I jumped over there, and, Constitutional is at 21 times face, yet silver's at $22 an ounce. That makes 0 sense. Except for, again, people are really starting to hoard the Constitutional more than they used to, and it's just, it's one of those things that we all know as time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder to get the stuff, and the value is just going to increase,
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. It's funny. I've always been a big stacker of Constitutional, mainly because I feel like and there's a lot of different schools of thought here, and I understand, I respect all of them because I do stack bullion and I do stack bars and hand pours and things like that. But when it comes to constitutional, I feel like when I pay the 21 times face Raven, there's always a chance that there's something that has numismatic value that was overlooked and whoever I buy it from. And so as a way to hedge the extra premium I might pay on constitutional, I can periodically grab a better date good or VG Barber or an SLQ that's dated that might be a 27 DRS or sometimes even a 1917 Type 1. Even though it's slick and you know it's a Type 1, it's going to fetch more than typically 21 times its face value.
Yeah.
And so I've always been a fan of buying fractional constitutional silver, not just because it's easy to not because it's easier to exchange. I forgot I had my stuff on. Not because it's easier to exchange, but it's also you have the chance of finding something with some value.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, you do. I've made a couple nice purchases of you know, constitutional, and throughout the years, you find stuff that blows your mind. You're like, how did they not see this? It seems like the copper pennies are more searched than the silver, to be honest, because I found some nice semi-key date stuff. I found a mercury dime that I named Cudzilla a couple years back. I gave it away, you know, but the thing had the most impressive cut I had ever seen. Like just a third of the dime was a big giant cud, you know?
Yeah.
And you can find errors, you can find good stuff that people really just, they don't take the time to look.
Seeker?
I was waiting for you guys to finish so I could answer Half Dollar Hunter down here. I just didn't want to interject. So he says, I've been collecting coins for a while, but I'm just starting to get into silver stacking past couple of days. Is now a good time to buy a silver, especially with the silver squeeze? That is such a tough question to answer, and that's because the truth is I don't really know. I personally continue to add to my personal stack. I have silver that I do pick up with the intent of, you know, putting in auctions or on my website, but I do have a personal stack of silver that is specifically the stuff that I never intend on touching, you know, until the day I die and it goes to my kids, hopefully. But I do continually add to that even now. But as always, I always look for the best premiums that I can get. It's really hard to find good premiums right now, but the numbers are coming down. So, I mean, it's hard to tell you. It's hard to tell you 100% yes or no. I would tell you that premiums are still higher than they were before the silver squeeze, though. So I don't know. It's a really tough question to answer.
Mr. Marmello, I'm sorry. I saw the member announcement or member shout out. Thank you for being a member. And yes, 1569 New Zealand monies, as we say on our streams. Read your chat, sir. Read your chat. I'm sorry, Mr. Marmello. I'm a little behind. I'm trying.
You know, here's the thing. If you can get it at a decent deal, hey, Jesse O, if you can get it at what you think is a good deal, and especially with the silver spot price, you got a decent dealer. Like I got a guy that I used to go to that I won't go to him anymore because he literally, as soon as silver goes up, he wants to sell you everything he has. If silver goes down at all, he will not sell you any silver, you know. But my coin dealer that has a bricks and mortar sells you silver all day, every day. So that kind of tells you something. You got to be, you know, very cognizant of the people you're buying from and knowing what they're doing, you know.
The person who's not selling you silver when it goes down doesn't really know what he's doing.
Exactly.
I mean,
I agree.
Unfortunately, if that's the business you're going to be in, you just have to continue to buy and sell it. I mean, are you really using? So here's a good example. Let's say I'm a silver dealer and I have 500 ounces of silver that I paid $30 an ounce for, and a guy comes in and silver drops, and now I have to sell it for 25. I don't actually lose as long as I call and replace that silver immediately from wherever I'm getting it from for less than that. So even though I sold it to you at $5 an ounce less than what I just paid for it, now I'm able to call and order it for, let's say, $1 or $2 less than what I sold it to you for. At the end of the day, I still have the 500 ounces of silver plus the extra $2 an ounce. So you're washing some of that loss out doing it that way. If you have a dealer that's not selling you silver just because it drops, either A, he just doesn't know what he's doing, or B, he doesn't have a source to replace the silver and he's worried about taking that loss. So if you don't have a source to replace the silver, I mean, I don't know what to say. It's easy to find if you work on it, but
yeah.
Well, I got a little funny anecdote for that. So this guy goes to the same silver deal or same coin / bullion dealer that I do.
Oh.
You know,
Oh, that's
so
funny.
It was weird because, well, actually, Miss Raven was the one that ran into him, and she actually helps out. There's a local coin shop here that she helps out from time to time, and he came in one day, and she's like, "Oh, hey," you know. So it's kind of funny to see that, but I think the guy is one, he doesn't know what he's doing, really, to be honest, and two, he's just greedy, just bottom line greedy, and Seeker's right.
Greedy and stupid because,
Yeah.
like Seeker said, it's a numbers game. He's got
It's an aggregate. Yeah.
He's going to have as many opportunities to sell when it's up from what he bought it for, probably more so than when it's down from what he bought it for. And even if he's not, it's a game of averages anyway. And he's buying it for less than spot always.
Yep.
I'm going to answer Sharad Patel's question in my mind. Sharad, the best time to buy silver in bulk or even fractional parts is when you can afford to use extra money to do so. You should never. I think Seeker did a video recently, which I wholeheartedly agree with. We have a lot of people who are new to stacking and just get excited by it and start spending money. Don't put silver on your credit card. Don't put silver in front of food and basic needs of life like your bills, your light bill, your mortgage bill, your rent bill, whatever, your car bill. Silver should be something that when you have an extra surplus of money and you want to hedge against the dollar or against inflation, and you can afford to put $10 or $20 or $50 or whatever you can afford here and there, stack some silver to make yourself have a nice little extra hedge and retirement that you really, it's harder to spend silver than it is to leave money in your checking account. So if you can afford the extra money to be designated towards something that's a savings, and I'm doing this because it's not a savings, but something that is like that, then that's when you buy when you can responsibly.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. You can't put yourself out there, make your bills and everything suffer, leave yourself thin for the, what they call FOMO, fear of missing out. Because here's the thing, silver will always be cyclical. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. And, just like anything in life, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Just plain and simple.
100%. And that video actually was not even that long ago. I released it on December 23rd, the one that Rob refers to, and I said specifically that it's 100% my belief. And actually, this kind of goes back to the person that asked me if it's a good time to start stacking silver now. Is it's really? It's hard to tell someone it's good time to stop or to start stacking silver if I don't know their financial situation. But outside of low interest secured debt, you should take care of that first. Like if you have credit card bills that are, $2,000 or $3,000 on a credit card with a 19% interest, take care of that first, because you're going to lose more money on that than what you're going to make on the silver that you're putting aside.
Yep.
Yeah. JJ the Sniper just put a comment that triggered something for me. I knew people long ago when I lived in California, when you used to have recycling fees where you get money back for your recycling. I knew friends that would stack aluminum cans and copper or whatever they could get their hands on that was just left out on people's curbs or even in the trash. They'd go dumpster diving. They'd grab all of this scrap stuff, take it to the scrap yard, get their receipt for recycling, and then buy silver and gold with it. And you'd be surprised at how many people throw away recyclables or items that you can get for free with a little bit of work. I mean, you have to haul it, you have to go take it somewhere. But you'd be surprised at how much money is just left on the streets every day that you can grab and then stack silver or gold with if you want to do that. If you have an addiction to silver or you really want to start stacking, you can do it without actually touching your wallet if you so choose to. And so Jay the Sniper's comment reminded me of some of the friends I knew back in the 90s that used to do that all the time.
And, one more thing to add to that you got to consider is when it comes to silver, it takes a lot of physical silver to make a lot of money. You can do pretty well if you grab some of like the Star Wars coins that came out this last year. I got some of those and they quadrupled in value. That's a very rare thing, but on average, it takes quite a bit of amount in your stack if you were to liquidate it to make a big giant profit out of it. So in my mind, you got to be strategic. You know, you got to try to hedge your bets where you can, but it is still a great way to increase your wealth and, you know, have a emergency fund to the side, because there's been more than one time in my life where I've had to take a stack of silver and what little gold I had and sell it to get me by. You know, it's just plain and simple.
So let me add a couple of things to that. If you're purchasing silver to try and turn a profit, you're probably into it for the wrong reasons anyway. Right. But the second thing that I want to say is in regards to what you were, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought because I was reading comments at the same time. What the heck was I just going to say? No, it was a really good point I wanted to make and I lost it.
While you think of that, Seeker, I will say that someone mentioned Taco Stacks. He's been a guest on the channel. He follows us. We follow him. He's a great guy. And yes, you're absolutely right. He has made a living off of that. And remember, at the end of the day, everything that people don't assume has value, one man's trash, another man's treasure. If you have some resourcefulness, you can stack on the cheap without even having to put a lot of work into it.
I've remembered what I was going to say.
I know. I can see by your face. No. You're like, the wheels are turning, and I'm trying to make you forget it again.
What I was going to say is Raven had said something about how stacking increases your wealth. I'm going to tell you the primary reason that happens, and it's not necessarily always because the value of your silver gains. And I'll give you a real world example. I have a friend who would buy silver, and this guy, he didn't have a savings. He had very little money in the bank. The money that he kept in the bank was enough to pay his bills, and he blew the rest of it going to the bars every weekend. He just didn't have a family, no kids, so he basically just spent all of his money. He goes, look, when I die, whatever. But he started to realize that there will eventually become a time where he's going to need some emergency money as he got older, but he wasn't built up the time. He wasn't the kind of person that could save money. If it was in the bank, he spent it. If it was in his pocket, he spent it. So he started buying silver and he started throwing it. Literally, he didn't even hide it in a safe or anything. He would just take his silver rounds and put them and drop them into the bottom of his fish tank. And that money was there because he knew that if he left that cash in his bank account or if he left that cash in his pocket, it would be gone at the bar that weekend. But when it's in silver, he has to physically think about taking it and selling it, and then getting the money before he can actually spend the money, which is a lot of extra steps that, you know, it sounds bad, but at the same time, if you're really bad about spending your money, putting it into something that's hard to get the money back out of very easily is definitely a good way to increase your wealth. And sure enough, he ended up stacking a few 100 ounces of silver just like that would have been gone on beer and whatever at the bar had he not done that. So
and just think about it, Seeker. When they got rid of allowing silver into circulation or circulated coins, the banks did a big push for a savings account that was untouchable until X amount of years, or there'd be a penalty, or like the IRAs, the 401ks. There's a lot of vehicles they want you to put stuff in that's untouchable. And while there is merit to all of that, to an extent. Putting your money into silver or gold, which makes it more difficult to turn around, is another way to save it than having it just sit in a checkings account or having it sit in a bank that controls its destiny with the way the dollar has been moving as far as its value lately. I do want to do a quick shout out. William Fowler, $20 Canadian. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Obviously, I would take the penny that doubles every day. That's an old analysis of thinking that I'll take the $1 million now, or do I want the penny that doubles in a day? And obviously after the end of a month, it's worth more. So definitely it's better to save your pennies. And speaking of saving pennies, I now have a total of 89 full boxes of just copper pennies as my savings. And one of these days, when they no longer have the penny available and copper is available to sell, whether I sell the pennies as pennies or whatever, that'll be a nice little chunk of change I'll have, because it's going to keep growing because I hunt pennies like crazy. Enough of that. All right.
It's not illegal to sell them for their copper weight. It's just illegal to melt them.
I know. I'm not going to melt them, but I mean, I don't want to sell them yet until there's no pennies out there available. And then I'm like, boom, who needs the pennies?
Fair enough. Wild West Stacker said, junk silver is too pricey. Changed my mind. Can you change his mind?
Junk silver is too pricey. Changed my mind. Well, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's still silver. So what you're paying in a multiple of face, I mean, I'd shop around. You know, an LCS, A lot of people don't know this, and I'm going to put it out there because not everyone has heard me say this or knows this. If you're only buying constitutional silver from an LCS, you're going to pay more than if you're buying it from another source that I also use. You guys will see them. They're in every city. The people that own those little tiny storefronts that have the sandwich sign out front that says, we buy gold, we buy silver. Remember, those guys don't just buy blocks of gold and blocks of silver. They're buying constitutional, they're buying coins, they're buying everything. So before you just always visit your LCS, which by the way is a good thing to do to support LCSs, but call around to those places and see what their face times value is on their silver and see what kind of silver they have. You'll be surprised at how many naive gold and silver front shops don't look at numismatic value at all. All they know is that it's silver. This is the face I'm going to sell it at. Here you go. And you can sneak in some great buys in those naive shop owners, although not all of them are naive, but you'll learn pretty quickly which shop has the people that don't know as much about numismatics as they know just about the silver and gold.
Yep. That's
absolutely.
That's how I could change your mind. Don't give up on its price until you visited a lot of the we buy gold and silver places.
And also ask around. You'd be amazed at sometimes, you know, the people that you see in the YouTube community or some of the Discords that are out there that they just need the money at that point. And they're like, okay, I'm going to sell it for 14, 15 times face, you know, and it does happen. You just have to really look and you have to ask, like Rob said, you know, you don't get it if you don't ask for it.
True that. Actually, we had I guess he's out now, but we had a seller in our Discord that was selling 90% for darn near melt just a couple weeks ago. I find my best deals at the antique shops. There you go, Gina. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, some of them are good, but you know, you got some of them that think that their 40% silver is worth $7. You know, it's like what?
You know, antique shops are like anything that wants to move inventory. You know, and I'll bring up another point here in a second. But antique shops typically, if something is a hot commodity like a Civil War belt buckle, you're going to pay top dollar for that. Yeah. If something is constitutional or numismatic as far as its precious metals content or even just its numismatic value, and they've been sitting on it for years, they're going to have no problem cutting deals. So you can find deals within antique shops, especially if you package them within other items in their shop. But at the end of the day, I don't recommend antique shops for a lot of numismatic stuff. Typically, I don't. However, I found some great Morgan dollars at coal prices that were not coal because they were just trying to move a handful of Morgan dollars in an antique shop before, for sure.
And sometimes you'll do good at a pawn shop. You know, there's some pawn shops you walk in and you're like, wow, the price is great. Other pawn shops, you're like, what are you on, buddy? You can't get $100 for that coin, you know? but the pawn shops are a spot where I've picked up some really nice numismatic coins for, you know, melt because they didn't know what they had and it sat in their shelf for so long they just wanted to get rid of it, just like Rob said, you know?
Right.
Hey, Rob, Mr. Marshmallow's member question is way up, but it's still barely on the screen.
I'm trying to find it.
It's all right. It says, is gold too expensive? Your hashtag gold, hashtag poll. PS, where is Kittle? Which I'm pretty sure Kittle is here.
Kittle might be here, but is gold too expensive? I mean, I don't know if gold's too expensive. It depends on where you're buying it and what their premium on top of that is. But at the end of the day, I still think gold and silver are way undervalued from what I believe they're worth. Not that I'm going to make a big debate about whether silver is worth $50 or not. But at the end of the day, I think gold should be worth more than it's worth right now. I think 2,000 is a fair assessment for me in gold. But until it stays above 2,000, I think it's still undervalued big time.
Well, and you know, a lot of people don't know this, but way back when they made a decision to make silver worth less. You know, there was a point in time in history where silver and gold were 1-to-1.
Isn't that crazy?
You know? Yeah, real crazy. And you can even see it in like historic stuff. Like if you watch the Vikings show on the History Channel and they're like, we want 1,700 pounds of silver. They wanted the silver more than they wanted the gold in a lot of situations. You know, so it's kind of interesting the way that things are at, you know, and I agree with
easier to disperse into usable tangible goods
Right.
versus gold. I mean, even if you walked in with a 1 gram gold bar, let's assume worst case scenario, and we went back to having precious metals as our currency. A 1 gram gold bar is tough to break down. You're probably going to get back silver and change. So at the end of the day, silver is more easier to disperse, utilize. It's harder to stack because it's heavier. It's harder to stack because it's heavier, but it's easier to break up and use as payments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, Seeker, what's next?
I'm sorry. I mean, you're the one that's picking the comments. What are you talking about? What's next?
I know. That's why I was asking. Maybe you saw something I missed.
No, I did see one person that's been asking a question multiple times. He's one of your channel members, so you might want to hit it. It's I'll find it. He was asking, I forget what his channel. Oh, Frank Sophia has been asking what month.
Yep.
Okay.
Frank's a good dude.
Well, let's look at the release of coins. Typically, since, and I don't have the mint releases, I don't know the treasury's release dates, but typically in my experience, pennies come up the last week of January. Nickels come out the first week of February, along with quarters and dimes shortly thereafter. So I would imagine in some areas that happen to be first in major metropolitan areas with a lot of coin hunters like DFW, where I live, is sometime around the middle of Valentine's Day is typically when you start seeing if there's going to be any early varieties caught. But remember, heirs and varieties might not come out in the first 10 million minted. They might not come out in the first 100 million minted. You never know when a problem is going to occur at any of the mints. It could happen anytime from the beginning of the year all the way through the end of the year. So at the end of the day, what I will tell you is if you're fortunate enough to get an uncirculated box of any denomination in January, February, March, or April, you can turn those on most auction sites like eBay for double their value all day, every day in the first three months to 4 months that the coins are released.
Yep.
And then after that, having to hunt them.
And then after that, you're bummed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very cool. What's your opinion on the new Averse quarter design starting in 2022 for Washington? I liked having the old school Washington face brought back, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. And if I recall, for 2022, they're going to be the honoring women of America, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's the new reverse, not the obverse.
No, I know. I was just trying to refresh my memory because I haven't taken a look at the upcoming designs for 2022 yet. Shame on me for sure.
Well, Joey K said the quarters will have heirs. Oh, the women quarters will carry heirs. There's no guarantee. You could have a full run of coins and nobody find heirs, but normally it's the more they mint, the more of a chance of having those heirs.
You just let me into the mint for one day. There'll be plenty of heirs.
You know what? I always wonder, Seeker, how many people that work at the mint not just think it, but have stashed away some heirs they custom made for themselves to pass down 50 years from now, to their family members. And what will we see over the next couple of decades?
Hey, there's a really good question. Buchanan's, you see their name on there?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, with the Long Beach coin. Now I know Kittle might be at the Long Beach coin show. He usually has a booth there. He might not, but you'll have PCGS there for sure, since that's pretty much where they're at or close to where they're at. But what are some of the do's and don'ts for a newbie? Well, one of the don'ts is going there with a stack of money that you cannot spend. First of all, take a look at what you can afford. Put that money aside. Once you've done that, if you don't have a digital album for your coin collection, take some pictures of some coins that you have missing spots of so that you know what you're shopping for. And then take a look online at what these coins that you like, your I must have list of coins, on what they're selling for, so you have a basic idea, so you don't get caught in the fuzzy moment of seeing a 1932 DRS quarter that's in VF condition and you're paying $150 for it when the next seller at the end of the row is selling it for $90. So I guess my point is, take money that you can, take pictures of your albums and see which coins you need for which albums you're really trying to work on. find out what everyone's been buying them for as sold listings or what the coin shop would sell them for, and then go to the coin show with that knowledge so that you make educated decisions. And then finally, don't buy in the first couple of stands when you first walk in, and don't spend all your money the first day when you're there. Save your money for the last day or the second to the last day, and then look at the end of the rows where the racks were a little bit cheaper maybe, and people will move things out a little bit more inexpensive. That's my thoughts. Seeker, you've ran those before. You've been around those before. What are your thoughts that I missed?
I've been to more coin shows than I can remember, but it's hard to remember being a newbie. But honestly, the most important thing is just don't buy the first one you see. Like if you're going to look for a specific coin, the thing, I mean, the Long Beach Coin Show, that's going to be a big one. There's going to be a lot of vendors there, which means there's probably going to be multiple copies of the same coin that you're looking for. Shop around, get the best price, make sure you have access to some sort of pricing data. Generally at a coin show, Gray Sheet is a pretty good pricing guide to use at a coin show. So make sure you have access to a Gray Sheet. Most dealers will give you one. Like if you say, what's the Gray Sheet price on this? They will look it up for you. They're not afraid to show that to you. But yeah, just don't take the first one you see, because if someone sees you coming, you know how it is. When they see you coming, they'll take advantage of it. So just make sure that you check around.
Yeah, and you still going?
No, go ahead.
So another thing about the Long Beach show in particular, if you've never been there, you're a newbie, expect to be ignored by a lot of old dudes. There's a lot of coin dealers there that sit there and they just got their paper in their hand. And unless you're like saying you want to buy their gold and all this stuff, 9 times out of 10, they don't get up to even ask you what you want, So it's just kind of, it happens there. There's a lot of dealers that are really nice. Those are the ones, that you want to go to a little bit more, that have the more customer service skills in mind. But don't discount the old guy that won't talk to you. If you come back and you have the right question or you want to do the right thing, they'll spend time with you. They're just tired of being asked really dumb questions. Like, somebody coming up to them, and I saw this myself. A guy had a handful of $50 and quarters and stuff. And, the thing that cracked me up is he pulled out a 70 or 71 quarter, Washington quarter. I forgot the year, but there's, Couch did a video saying this thing's worth $20,000. And the guy's like, I have one. It's worth a lot. Why won't you buy it? And it's like, because those kind of finds are very few and far between,
well, especially in the condition that puts them at. Listen, I have found my fair share of variety quarters or dimes or pennies or nickels that might be worth $100 to $400. But in order to find a variety that's also in the grades that put them at those $10, $15, $20, $100,000 in circulation and survived and wasn't pulled out and didn't get dinged up or left in an ashtray or good luck with that. I've searched almost 1,000 boxes of pennies and probably 800 boxes of nickels, and I have found good stuff. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't do it if I didn't believe I could find good stuff, I wouldn't be doing it. But I'm not going to find the $100,000 full steps nickel that there's only one of.
Yep.
Couple questions I saw. Jason 4343, what's up, my man? He asked, how long do you think the W pennies and nickels to go up in value? 5 years or more than 10 years?
I honestly think they're going to dip for a little bit, especially the quarters, because I think a lot of it was like the popularity of it and whatnot, because I've seen it at some of the local coin shops here where before they had them at like $35, $40 a quarter. Now they're at like 10, 11 for raw.
And I agree, Raven, but here's what I think. A lot of those coins were released directly into circulation.
Right.
Which means if you were one of the lucky people that grabbed high mint state examples straight from brand new quarter boxes, like I did a few of those, those will hold their value and probably go up in value because the population of high mint state circulated, only released in this. Look at the 82 P&D and 83 P&D Washington quarters.
Oh, it's way up there if you get them. Yeah.
There was no mint sets released those years. So there was no uncirculated sets released. So when you look at the high mint state examples of those 2 years of quarters, that's what the W quarters will look like over time.
Same thing for the
examples we're pulling out today will not have that kind of value because you can get those.
$50 are the same thing for those years too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very, very hard to find one of those in that grade. And it's for what Rob said. There was no mint sets, you know.
I mean, an 83p quarter probably grays for $50 in a mint state 65. That's a circulated quarter that had 673 million minted. Think about now something being 2 million minted, also released in circulation 20 years from now. I'm telling you, the high mint state W quarters, if you have them, hold on to them. They're probably going to be worth near $100 20 something years from now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But the ones in the AU, XF, VF, they're going to be worth $5 to $10 at best.
Yeah.
Maybe double that because 2 million circular, 2 million minted.
But I think too, Rob, that because there was so much attention put on this, that there is going to be a higher population of nicer coins. You know, I mean, you had people like that were buying full pallets of quarters and going through them, you know, and just getting so many that you're like, wow, I have still in Oklahoma can't find a W quarter in circulation.
That's crazy. I have rolls of every release, and I've sold hundreds of them, and I've kept the prime examples ungraded because I don't slab everything, but I've kept the best of the best I've ever found from every from 2019 and 20 from each design for myself.
I've never found a W quarter in circulation.
Yeah. So me and Seeker, I've gone through a lot of quarter boxes. And because you don't find anything here, I don't make a video of it. You know, it's not Raven doesn't find things.
J Dog's got a question. Raven, do you think that the fact there's more and more people that are corner hunting half dollars is hurting or helping the hobby?
I think that's a double-edged sword. It's helping the hobby because it's growing the interest and more people are involved, but it hurts somebody like myself who does a show, and now all of a sudden in the town I live in, every bank you go to, we don't have any coins. We don't want to do it. You know? So it's been harder to get boxes of halves. I'm lucky that myself and Miss Raven established some really strong, friendships with managers and tellers, because that's helped out immensely. So it's a double, you know, it helps the hobby because you're going to get more people collecting. They're going to start looking at other denominations and whatnot and getting into more cool stuff. They'll sidebar over to stacking silver or gold, you know, so in that way it helps them. But for coin roll hunting channels, it can hurt us a little bit, you know.
I was actually going to add in, and before I even had a chance to say it, it popped up in the chat. Jason actually said, it's hurting the hobby because the U.S. Mint just made 2021 halves, not NIFCs.
That's another one.
Literally, these are all 2021s, and I have a whole bin of them down here. I have seen over 100 full boxes of 2021 half dollars now.
Well, you know, and here's the thing that I think that happened is because so many people are going to the bank for halves. I think the U.S. Mint went, well, hey, the demand is up. Let's start pumping these out.
No, I agree 100%, but the demand's up because of the amount of corner hunters, and that's fine. I mean, I'm glad people are getting into it. It's great to get people into it, but it has hurt it because it makes it hard to want to continue. It makes it hard to want to continue the search when you just keep picking up boxes of brand new coins that aren't good for anything. Yeah. Morgan asked, do I check my 2021 halves for errors and varieties? No. You guys are welcome to find them after I put them back out in circulation and do so yourself. I am not a big error person. That's not to say they aren't awesome. That's cool for those that are into it. But outside of the big errors, I'm talking like the big errors, like your 55 DDO penny. It's not something I'm super, super into.
Yeah, and I found a nice strike through 2021 Denver. I had a video released on it, and I was hoping I would find different stages of the strike through, because with most strike throughs, normally there's a weak one, a stronger one, a really strong one, then it starts breaking up and gets weaker again. Right. I found probably a middle of the road strike through where it's definitely been broken up a little bit. So I was hoping to find a few more so that I could show that it was a strike through versus just damage. But it's definitely a strike through. So they're out there. Strike throughs don't fetch a lot unless it's something that's identifiable. Like if there was a paper clip right between the planchet and the die, and it was obviously a paper clip, things like that fetch big. or if the design looks like something, like it resembles something. But outside of that, typically they don't fetch a lot. Really quick, before I get in trouble, Mr. Marmello 555 New Zealand monies. Rob, please say Cord and Namaste to Mr. Patel and go Royal Rajas of, I don't know what that is, in the crickets. I don't know how.
Oh yeah, cricket, the game of cricket.
Oh,
Royal,
and then the game of
Royal
cricket. I see it now. A cricket, and then the cricket paddling the ball. All right, there we go. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Marmello from the London Under. What am I missing?
Inkman says, I have a strict through $50. I struck it with a 45 ACP.
Nice, Inkman.
That's crazy.
I have unopened multiples of all W cents. Send off to be graded or be at the mercy. You know what? Take a look at what the cost of graded is, shipping it, sending it off, and then does it add value even at a high grade of 65 or higher? If it, I mean, obviously any coin that was, heck, what was the last graded United States minted cent at a 69 or a 70? I don't think a U.S. penny, we'll call it. I don't think a penny has been graded at a 69 or 70 since the mid or early 90s. I don't think one. I mean, other than a W penny, maybe, but outside of that, a regular circulated cent, I don't think there's been a graded MS69 or 70 since the 90s. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a 69 out there in all those years, but that's how poorly they're minted for circulation.
Our Al
I just saw
AIL says that our local banks have mentioned that the Fed thinks that releasing has lost at the coin shortage. If they do, they don't know what they're talking about because no one uses $50. That's silly.
Yeah.
Huh.
Although I've been using a lot of 2021 Denver uncirculated non-NIFC $50 for gas tank purchases.
Fair enough.
I'm going to tell you something interesting that the local restaurants and stuff here love when we use $50. Just love it. They don't care that there's no, so we tell them, hey, there's no silver in there. We just love $50. We never see them until you guys bring them in. So, you know, that's one of the way I do some of my dumping. And for gas.
First week of discovery, all those fancy schmancy labels. Listen, look at the ASEs. Anything with the first strike in a high MS70 fetches almost double what regular ones don't. So I would be naive to say that first week, first strike doesn't mean anything in the numismatic world. That being said, it's still just an ASE or it's just a W quarter with a high grade, whether it has first week or not. At the end of the day, it doesn't, to me, that first week of discovery was more of a ploy to get everyone to submit to PCGS, and they paid out that money for first week of discovery when they were doing the program. Outside of that, honestly, to me, it's just the label, except for the ASEs. I do like first strikes on those.
Yeah. Right.
But that's me talking. I'd rather have a first strike ASE MS70 than an MS70 non-first strike. But that's just me. For the W's, I could care less whether it's slabbed first week or not. It's still a MS70 or not.
Right.
Yep.
Seeker, do you know this? You do it with a lot of bullion.
Listen, the best way to get rid of milk spotting on silver coins is very, very, very high temperatures. Yep. Rob, you should know that.
I know about it on the what was that silver round I melted? The Norfed bullion.
Yeah.
I got rid of all the melting video. That. I didn't realize I had a Norfed. Then I was editing the video and I saw it in the crucible. I was like, that's a Norfed silver. What am I doing?
Dude, I saw that thing right away. Remember, I think I was like the first one to comment on it.
I dumped it. I dumped the roll into the thing and I was filming and I wasn't really paying attention to the design. In editing, I was like, that's a Norfed. What am I doing? It happens.
What is he doing?
I'm not at 100K yet. It's not going to be tonight, guys. It's not going to be tonight.
It could be tonight.
I need 43 more subs between right now and 100K. But at the end of the day, I will be giving away the gold coins, hopefully on Saturday as a video release. Whether I hit it tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, Saturday is my planned release date on the gold coin winners announcement video.
Seeker couldn't sell gold today, says CM Silver. Hey, I'm glad you liked that video, man. It was fun.
Hey, there was a person here just a second ago that is asking about the best app to use to track their coin
Oh, I
collection.
did see that. You know what?
Excel.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
I love
you know
Excel.
what? I don't have my phone up here, believe it or not. It was almost dead. It's charging. So I don't have the name of the app. But if anyone wants the name of the app, well, let me say it differently because I'll get 100 emails. On my Wednesday live stream, I will show the app and the icon that I like to use for digital storage. I will tell you I'm a little behind on some of it. I haven't updated in a while, but it is a nice app. It looks just like you're having Dansko albums on your phone, and you can see it puts in an image of the coin, not your own image, but you can substitute the image for your own coin's image so you know if you have a high quality one or not, and you might want to upgrade it.
I am Rosie Markham says, I am collecting coins and old money. I am wondering if money hobby will die down so I can collecting more.
I think coin collecting is it was at its peak probably in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, died down. I think it's coming back at the end of the day. I don't think anything with numismatic or historical value like coins will ever die down and lose its value. I mean, these silver coins are becoming more rare with all of the places taking them into refineries and melting them down. We're seeing less and less silver out there, and more collectors are now taking some and stacking it. I think it's only going to get harder to have your share of coins if you don't get into it. But at the same time, there is no FOMO here. If you can't afford it, don't get into it.
100%. Honestly, I think YouTube has really kind of sparked quite a bit of extra interest in coin collecting as well, especially during the beginning of the lockdowns last year. When everyone was stuck in their house, they were finding something to look into on YouTube. So, I mean, that's a lot of people have been jumping into the hobby in the last couple of years. So, I think it's getting stronger, not weaker lately. I don't know when it'll turn back around again, but it probably won't be anytime soon.
I don't know about this, Seeker. Should you open a mint sealed tube to make sure it wasn't tampered with
from the U.S. Mint?
I'm guessing that.
I mean, so the 2021 Silver Eagles are the first ones that the mint, the Type 2s even, it wasn't even the Type 1s. So the 2021 Type 2s are the first tubes that ever even had the little mint seals on the tube. Mm-hmm. Like before that, the only way you knew it was sealed from the mint is if it was in a sealed monster box. Once those straps were cut, they weren't really sealed anymore. So yeah, open it up and check if you're really worried about it. But if they have the mint seal on it, you probably don't have to worry about it. I mean, you can count it's hard, but if you get a lot, you can actually count the number of coins to the side of the tube anyway.
Somebody just asked about Rob's Indian cent. I would almost say crack that sucker open and send it to Annex.
That makes me want to grab my
every time I bring up that stinking Indian cent, Seeker shows me one that there's no way got authentic color, but somehow it did.
It's like red, red. Not copper red, actual red.
Around it. It looks like a rainbow.
Yeah.
I wish I knew where that picture was.
To answer the question, yes, I currently have 5 coins now that I want to re-crack. I'm waiting till I get 10, and then I'm going to do a crack and resubmit submission. I'm not in a hurry on that Indian cent. It's sitting nicely in its questionable color PCGS holder, which they know it's not.
Yeah. Hey, Michael Hargis says, I recently seen a couple of videos on stamp collecting. Would you ever branch off into stamp collecting world? Me personally, no. There's so many stamps that are so similar. And if you don't know the attention to detail, you're going to get either ripped off or lose a lot of money or get really lucky. But stamps are so... You got to have so much knowledge for them.
If I was at a garage sale and there was a shoebox full of stamps and they wanted it for a few bucks, I would buy it every time and then have some fun researching it. But if I'm looking to buy an awesome stamp that's not authenticated, no way.
Right.
I'm looking for that picture, Rob, just so you know.
Seymour starts, $5 super chat. Congratulations on 100K, Rob. Showed in today and able to watch live. Thank you, Seymour starts. Good to see you, brother. He's an OG, been around for a while. Always learn a lot from you all. Very nicely said. Thank you for this $5 super chat as well.
You should start calling them ORs, original Robsters.
Original Robsters. I actually have, for those that don't know, I actually have a pretty extensive old stamp collection, but I'm naive with stamps, so I've just left it in the shoebox and not done. It just sits in a shoebox. When I say extensive, it might be all common stamps, but it's a whole bunch from the turn of the century all the way to the 60s and 70s.
Hey, quick question, guys. Were we going to say something about the anniversary thing that we discussed? Or are we going to hold off?
Let's work out details on that before we do that.
All right.
I would because we were just kind of shooting it back and forth.
Thank you, Matt.
Day one Rob member, says Matt Poe. I've been a Rob member since day one.
We're getting ready to have some 30-monthers here, I think, in the next 4 or 5 days.
That's On the Go with Matt Poe.
We are at 8 o'clock. I'm not rushing anyone off. But we are. I know I've missed a ton of questions. I'm trying to answer, smile, and do this all I can, but I'm doing the best I can. But if there's any questions that I may have missed a few times, feel free to throw them in the chat. We can answer a few more. And definitely, man, because these things are always fun, right, guys? We just want to keep going, but we have to stay true to our hour 5.
Yeah.
And I think Tony summed it up best. Cool BS session. Sam, I'll answer that on my Wednesday stream. Please, Koala, Hearts,
West
second
Coast.
place, Ashley and the Lately Suspect, West Coast. Peace. Thank you, Mr. Marmello.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watch Ridiculousness, but I always crack up when you see that Chanel girl with her tiny little hand. She's all, eh.
Seeker, best bullion dealer.
I mean, there's so many of them. I mean, I do videos going to different ones like SD and APMEX and JM and all them. They all have different deals at different times. So I won't give a best to any of them, because the best thing for you to do is, if you're wanting to buy something, to check them all and see who has the best deal at the time. So
Buchanan asked, is this going to be weekly or monthly? We are on a
bi-weekly, every other week.
Yep. So in 2 weeks.
Shalani's coming to say hi.
Hi, guys.
Sherlani's coming to tell you, Rob, it's 8 o'clock. You said you'd be off.
Is it dinner 30?
Hey, Rob.
Well, it is dinner
finally.
30, but it's down there, so it's not a big deal.
I have looked through 30 different months of pictures that I've taken over the few years. There it is, Rob.
Hold on. Let's think.
Look at how red that is. That's like painted red. Hey, wait a minute. And you can see when it's up close, like it's missing some of the paint.
Oh my goodness. It even has a spot. Look, it even has damage to the left of the bust, the pointed bust behind the U.
How did you get that grade?
There it is. I knew I'd find a picture of it.
I'd look at that scan code.
You know what?
So
I'm taking off my Silver Seeker 2-year anniversary shirt.
So our next show will be January 10th, and it looks like it's my turn on the rotation.
No problemo.
Yeah, Joey Corkay says, hey, questionable color. Good to see Charlani, though. Hope your mom's doing better, Charlani.
Yeah, she's healing up.
Awesome.
She'll get through it.
That's good to hear.
And hi, everyone. I can't say hi to everyone.
Hey, Charlani.
I see you guys. Hi.
I'm sorry, I've been looking this way for like the last 7-8 minutes to find that picture to mess with Rob.
Really quick, I am 39 subs away from 100K. Thank you for those that suspended me, that subscribed to me during the stream. I appreciate that very much. Don't forget to check out the link descriptions, or the descriptions in the links in the description for my friends Silver Seeker and Ravenhawk Coins. They're on their races to personal goals as well. And
by the way, I am giving away a Christmas gift January 1st, if you haven't seen the video yet.
Is that the What Did Santa Forget gift? Dude,
there's a lot of cool stuff in here, including some cool 3D printed stuff, but actual silver as well. So, and Little Seeker signed it. See that? That's right.
Feed that man. He can't talk anymore. I'm starving. All right, guys.
No, guys. We're going to stand here for another hour, make Charlani mad, and make Rob starve.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate those that spend time out of their days to hang out with us old farts. And, Seeker's young, but us old farts, and hang out with us.
I'm not that young. I appreciate it though.
I just age well.
Seeker just turned 28.
Yeah. I wish.
Where's the silver and my BU Benjis? Says Eric Douglas. Maybe Wednesday or maybe not. We'll have to see. Cornrow hunting with $half is getting tougher lately. All right, guys. Ravenhawk's channel's down below. Seekers is down below. I'll see you guys. Whoa!
Whoa! John!
100 for 100.
Super Chat Champion of the World, John the Hitman Hawk! Not Ravenhawk.
Wow, Raven had to quickly take his earphones off.
Wow, John.
I absolutely cannot stand the blow up doll.
Wow, John. Holy cow. Thank you so much, brother. Unneeded, but appreciated very much. Very nice of you. And thank you, Frank Mons, as well. And why did we have to see the blow-up doll, Seeker? Come on. John and Frank, thank you guys. Thank you to all the super chatters. Everyone, you guys, we couldn't do this without you. And it makes me very happy, and I'm getting excited because I'm getting close to the dream I had 4 years and 2 months ago for this channel. So I'm very excited.
Awesome, man. You'll be there.
The dog is out. We out. Thank you, everyone. Shalani, I'm ready to eat.
Bye, guys.
Guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. And by the way, you will catch an archive of this at rcubedcast.com, and in 2 weeks, we will hopefully be recording our first episode of the actual RCube podcast.
Seeker, put the RCubecast site in the chat so they can know where to go if they want to hear any of our old podcasts and those types of goodies. Wow, John, thank you very much. Frank, CM Silver, Mr. Marmello. That's definitely some good goodies right there.
I just put it in the chat. If anyone wants to check that website out, that's where all of our episodes of this old show go, including all of our old ones and the podcast episode itself, which don't get recorded live. So check them out. I just spammed it. You can see it there.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Congrats. Hey, Rob, I just want to say congrats again on 100K.
We're not there yet, Seeker. I'm going to be awake until 4 a.m, seeing if it moves at all.
Listen, you'll be there soon. You'll be there soon.
You'll be there very soon. You'll be the big check mark.
Yeah, hope one of these days for sure. You guys are awesome. Good night. See you Wednesday.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Peace.